Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Viewers, I am Dr. Munawar Hussain and you are watching Current Affairs and Diplomatic Affairs with Dr. Munawar Hussain. With us today is Dr. Mubeen Shah. He is a known Kashmiri leader and he's a successful businessman. Currently, he's living in Turkey. Shah Sahab, thank you very much for your time for our show. Shah Sahab, today we want to discuss about the decision which has come from ICJ regarding the Palestinian issue. And out of 16 judges, they have given decision that they would listen the case which is submitted by the South Africa, and they have given a statement for Israel that within a month they have to submit the report regarding the reversal of the genocide that they are committing in Gaza. How do you see this statement and how do you see the role of ICJ on the issue of Kashmir? Because there is a similarity between Kashmir issue and Palestinian issue. If 2.3 million Palestinians they are entangled with the quagmire created by Israel, so is the case with the 8 million Kashmiris who are engulfed and encircled by the Indian 1.5 million military soldiers.
Assalamu alaikum, sir, and thank you for bringing me on this platform. And it's a very important decision of the International Court of Justice. Actually, we Kashmiris are feeling hopeful about the world order based on rules, because as we know, Palestinians have suffered. There is no doubt about that. And we have also suffered in a similar fashion or not. It has been culminated recently in Gaza, which has been happening for the last 75 years, more than 75 years. So on the same time period as us. And when I see the submission of South Africa and when I see their points, which they have requested the International Court of Justice, are something very, very similar to what I would desire a country to speak on us, for our behalf in the ICJ, if it comes to that. This is exactly what we are suffering, we are facing also at the same time, on those similar points. If you go to the points which South Africa raised. And now in the decision, and prior to that decision, the reasoning of giving that decision, very two important points have been pointed out, which are exactly similar to what is happening in Kashmir. And I have been very vocal about it in all my participation in different Zoom meetings, in different platforms, has been that Article 2 of the Genocide Convention should apply to India also. If you go through that judgment, the two most important features on which the court decided in favor of Palestine, in favor of South Africa, was that, number one, killing of members of the group. In the case of Palestine, it has been also more than, I don't know the exact figures, from 1947. But if we take Kashmir into view, almost 600,000 people, Kashmiris, have been killed from 1947, out of which 350,000 to 400,000 have been in a particular period in 1947, by which a Muslim majority area of Jammu was converted into a Muslim minority area. And by killing those 350, they had to run off. They are now living in Sialkot and other places in Pakistan. The same people who were killed during that period in 1947. And then subsequently, Kashmiris have been killing all the time, all these years. And when we have documented, let us say from 1990, more than 100,000 people have been killed. So the one article within the, Article 2, or a point which I wanted to stress was this, which is as per, the decision, killing members of the group. And they have targeted Kashmiri Muslims. Let us be very, very clear and very, very frank. India has targeted Kashmiri Muslims as a group, particularly. And first it was in Jammu Muslims, then it was Kashmiri Muslims from after that. And they have been doing it particularly from 1990. They made the Kashmiri Pandits to leave that place in army trucks in 1990. And then because then only population which was left, particularly in the Kashmir Valley, is Kashmiri Muslims. So it was targeting of a particular member of the group in Kashmir. So this is one part. The second part is causing serious bodily or mental harm to the members of the group. You see, I have been very, very clear in my submissions or in my talks that besides this 100,000 people, more than 100,000 people killed, there have been people who have been arrested. There have been people who are being, kidnapped, and they are under missing. 11,000 people of ours. Then there are people who are hundreds and thousands of people who are injured, out of which 7,000 people have been injured by pellets. And then out of them 7,000, 700 of them almost have been, having injuries in the eye, giving rise to different levels of injuries, and also at the same time sight loss. Different levels. So all this is serious bodily injury. We have thousands of Kashmiris who have been interned in Indian prisons, went through torture of the worst type, which I see now. I saw recently, today also I saw a very important, a video has been prepared, and telling us how they have targeted children, the Palestinian children. The same thing in our case. Kashmiri children were put behind bars, put behind. The Indian police and Indian army did all those things which have been said into that. And I believe me, I almost cried to seeing that video, because I was visualizing the same thing what has happened in Kashmir. And so this is number one, bodily injury and mental harm. You see, today there are reports, there are even books, there is analysis of all this by some very important people who have mental health. Now in Kashmir, there is a separate mental health hospitals, and now they are running into hundreds of thousands of them. Every segment of our society has been affected. I wrote yesterday on Twitter, somebody had written about or was speaking about, for example, you are one of your journalists, Riaz Khan, and he said, that he was done like this. So I wrote that we have also gone through all this, but the difference is that they went, in case of Kashmir, to the highest extent of doing waterboarding, and hitting and damaging your genitals and all that. So all this has happened, and this result is that we have the biggest prevalence of PTSD, post-traumatic disorder, in Kashmir. So these 2 points on which Article 2 of the Geneva Convention has been today spelled out by the court, which gives us hope that if a country approaches the court, we may get a similar decision against India. And let them not wait for what happened on October 7th. It may happen in Kashmir because already the Kashmiris are pushed towards the wall by India, by whatever they are doing in India, in Kashmir. They are giving a false image of everything is all right. But if a Kashmiri is asked privately or without the surveillance of the Indian state, he will tell the same thing what he was telling before 2019. That
Dr.
we want
Mubeen,
right of
Dr. Mubeen, in
self-determination.
the case of Palestine, South Africa has taken the lead, and all other nations, including Pakistan, now they are supporting South Africa. They are standing behind South Africa. But who would take the lead in the case of Kashmir?
So this is where diplomacy has to work. Diplomacy has to work of not only on Pakistan's sake, but for us also in the diaspora. This is a job for all of us to see which country can do a similar thing for Kashmir. And because it has to be done very diligently. There was a move last year, I think. There was a move, and but at that point of time in Pakistan, it didn't come through then. Maybe because of there was not enough traction to it, or there were I attended some Zoom meetings, which was done from Azad Kashmir, certain organizations in Azad Kashmir who were building up the case. And in our case also, you have reports of the United Nations human rights organizations, which have been issued in 2018 and 2019. It is a complete base and everything is there. Now it's a question of putting it together with eminent lawyers. Actually, to tell you very frankly, I had also tried on my small way to try to see some lawyers which came to Istanbul from United Kingdom, and but because they needed a lot of details and a lot of these things which I was not in a position at that point of time, but others can do it. Others can add on. There are so many people who have all the data, all the pictures, all the videos of all these things. It has to be put together and made a case, And the problem was, which I, when I talked to whoever it is in the Pakistan state, at a certain point of time, they were afraid that they will lose the case. So, I remember
why they are afraid? What is your experience? Why they are afraid?
I don't know, because they feel which has been proved wrong now. I think this was my nobody told me this, but I feel that they feel that this highest court will be also influenced by countries like the United States and other things. Like what is happening in United Nations Security Council.
It was the case in the case of Palestine. All judges, they belong to the West. They were pro. It was perception that they might take the side of the Israel. But now it is proven quite opposite to that.
That is why wrong. Yes, that is what I said. It is proven wrong today by the case. But, naturally, who are decision makers, they feel that, if we lose the case, then it is going downhill, the issue of Kashmir. But, our issue is based on facts. And it is not that, made ups. We have people with PTSD. We have these people who have been martyred. We have people, thousands of Kashmiris are still in prison. I have even, the people who were taken prisoners with me, young people, they are still in Agra prison, even after 4 years, some of them. So the question is, it is same thing, but the point is, India being a big country and having clout and particularly unfortunately in our OIC countries, although, when we go back to the resolutions in, I think it was July 2022 or something like that, when a complete comprehensive, when you had a OIC meeting in Islamabad during the previous year, there was a complete elaboration of what needs to be done. But it was not implemented after that. It was not implemented. There was no follow-up. Although we, at our individual levels, we are, trying to put OIC, tagging them, this thing, but, it has to be a different level to try to tell them that what they need to do.
Dr.
They were
Mubeen
not
Shah,
even,
OIC,
India did not.
OIC means only to give the statements. OIC means only to give
That is,
statements.
but
Nothing.
today, but today South Africa has proved, what one country can do. What these OIC countries who are so many number of them?
You are
This is
absolutely
very
right.
important to tell.
Do you think that Guardian, as per report of the Guardian, that now there is realization in UK that we are ignoring human rights violation in Kashmir and in India, what Indian regime is doing with the minorities, and we are signing the free trade agreement with India. So now we have to think again. So there is a realization there. So I think this is, what do you think? This is not the time where the Kashmiri diaspora and Pakistan must be activate and to launch an proactive diplomacy regarding the Kashmir issue?
I will put more responsibility on Kashmir diaspora now at this point of time. Yes, the Pakistan state has to help because they have told us that diplomatically we will help in every quarter and every place. Okay, but the diaspora, the problem is the diaspora, Kashmiri diaspora who have suffered is very limited outside, outside Kashmir. For example, you will have very, very, people who can you count on fingers. Why? That is also a reason because we did this program. I did this program with you wherein, the target killing. Because our people, I remember I did I participated in a demonstration outside the UN. And there were a lot of Kashmiris from my side of Kashmir. They were with it. And when the person who came with it, he was taking photographs, and a journalist came with all that and the video camera and all that. They left. And next day I called them. I said, "Why do you do this?" He said, "We cannot go to Kashmir. We'll be labeled. Indian government will not allow us to go to land even in Kashmir." So, these are all things which India has done, targeted people, surveillance of Kashmiris. And this is where, yes, we have to put pressure. And there are certain people in the UK, because you see, I am in Turkey. I don't need to do much in Turkey because Turkey is already on our side. Turkey is also, by the interaction I have had with the politicians here, they are seized of the issue of Kashmir. They have been very, very vocal about it right from 2019, even President Erdogan for that matter. But this will, because the Western world, like UK, United States, it is very, very important to change their policy. And I just read yesterday that, today only morning actually, that in the UK Parliament, it has been discussed about Kashmir. And the world has not to wait for a situation like what happened on October 7th. I can foresee that if the world does not take action and make India accountable and get the right of self-determination determined in a peaceful manner, that same fate will happen to Kashmir also. And at the same time, it will become into a bigger war. And because I don't think Pakistan or any leader in Pakistan or any person who rules Pakistan will be able to afford to keep silent if a similar situation happens in Kashmir as happened in Gaza.
Now I am checking the number of the Kashmiris in UK. It is almost 70% of Pakistanis who are living in UK. So
Yes.
70% out
Yes,
of Pakistanis, they are Kashmiris, especially the Mirpuris. So they have to be activated,
yes.
I think. Yeah.
Yes. They are already activated. I am also in contact with a lot of groups within them. And we have certain, very important leaders there. who are doing a lot of work. And we have even MPs, they are supporting Kashmir cause in a very, very big way. So what I mean to say, the momentum has to be there. And basically, it's also very important to have one very important thing, because unfortunately, in the case of Kashmir, there have been different views and different thinking about people. There have to be unity of thought and unity of action.
Okay.
The first and foremost thing is the right of self-determination. On that, everybody should come on one platform, or else, our whole effort will go waste. So this has been what I have been trying, whatever it is.
How do you see the role of the United States of America? Though they have a diplomatically, there is a low-profile relationship with India because Indian network is exposed in US. The plot that they plan to kill Mr. Punnu, who is the Sikh movement leader, and his plotter, his planner, Nakhil Gupta, he has been arrested in Prague, the capital of Czech Republic, and the court has given decision that he would be handed over to the America. So the relationship is in a low profile, and though America is not taking this case on the multilateral forums, though it is dealing with at the bilateral level, but even then the relationship is low profile, and therefore President Joe Biden did not participate as a chief guest in a day of India yesterday that was celebrated in India regarding the Republic Day of India. So how do you see this opportunity where we can influence America at least to promote their ideal interest in the case of Kashmir, that is the promotion of human rights?
The present administration, actually all the administrations, American administration, have been supportive of Kashmir right from inception. And I told in one of my speeches in one of the conventions recently held, that they have been basically very supportive. They were actually the sponsors of our resolution in the United Nations Security Council. But you see, the American government or American public have been fed with this thing that India is a big democracy. It is one of the biggest democracies in the world. And they will not do anything wrong because they see that democracy through their eyes. That, if somebody does wrong, there are checks and balances, in different places. But that is not the case in India. It is presently completely an Islamophobic, Hindutva regime. And for that matter, I do not give a free pass to Congress also, because when it comes to Kashmir, they were the first who did it by deceit, and because Jawaharlal Nehru, being a leader of India, but at the same time a Congress for so long, he was the person who committed even in Lal Chowk that will be given Kashmiri the right of self-determination, but it did not happen. So now we come to this present situation. What will America do? You see, the point is that I will tell, after 2019, they supported us to the extent of human rights that, they got me released. But whether there is a change of policy during Biden administration, at that time, it was Trump who was supposed to be even don't care about human rights. But the Democrats were supposed to be more concerned about human rights. But our biggest human right defender, Khurram Parvez, is in jail. He has not been released. There is no pressure on India. Although all the people, right from human rights organizations, heads, to lot of people who are in human rights, working for human rights in the world, have asked the Indian government to release the gentleman. They are putting bogus cases on him, and he is still in jail. So that means, is the power of the United States not there to do that, which it was in 2019, or is it a change of policy? So this is one aspect of it. Another aspect is that, we saw it practically. People in the world saw practically that during the Gaza thing that, Israel is, which I have been telling, Israel is America, America is Israel. India is not at this stage at that point, because which you rightly pointed out, there is some cooling down in the relationship, because they are not doing exactly what they wanted them to do, particularly during this, Ukraine war. Actually, India took an advantage of that, and even sold the same petrol and same diesel to them by processing it and in India. This is what happened, and India took advantage economically. And so that is one of the important things we have to understand. America's today's position with India is that, and basically they want them to be against China, which India is not exactly doing that, because they know that America may not come forward when it matters, and may not, because of a lot of
This is the
pressures and
common
all these things.
realization
China,
within India and in America. This is the common realization. Yeah.
Exactly. You see, because history is like that. History is like that. What happened in 1971? Pakistan was the closest to America. They said Seventh Fleet is coming. Seventh Fleet is coming. It never came. Whatever the reason may be, who did wrong, who did not do wrong, I don't want to go into that details.
Shah Saab, I think this
but
is
this is the fact
Shah
of
Saab,
life.
I think this is the reason that we are not opening up the Hamudur Rahman report. What our friendly nations they did with Pakistan in 1971.
Must be true, because there are a lot of things which we do not know. Because people in Pakistan may not even know that in 1962 Ayub Khan was. It is now knowledge, but it is not. They say no. Somebody telling like that in China offered Pakistan a way out, and I told in one of your blogs with you also. I told that I was able to tell up front to Robert Kennedy's Robert Kennedy's daughter, that the Kennedy family was responsible for what we are in position today, because they started negotiations. Because this is what I say to Pakistanis also. Negotiations will not do it. Because why will not do it? Because either you have to be very, very strong to do negotiations. You see, we have to understand. You have to be very strong and negotiate from a position of strength. Then only negotiation can help. You cannot say oh, I will do trade, I will start trade, and then and think and hope that they will come to your viewpoint. They will never come. They will never come. They will never come. We know.
One of my teachers, Shah Saab, late Dr. Tahir Amini, used to say that how can we have a trade with India? We can sell aloo, tomato, and pyaz to Indians and buying these things from India, while Kashmiris they are encircled by the Indian forces. So you are absolutely right, but time is running out. So thank you very much, Shah Saab, for your time.
No, I will just give me 1 minute about this answer. Please see history. Please see history before 1947. Cotton was grown in what is today Pakistan, Punjab, and the textile mills were in Bombay. You should get an answer for that. They will only ask your raw materials. Finished products will be from India, and your whole whatever small industry you have, that will also finish with that.
Oh, you are absolutely right. I mean, this is another aspect that you have exposed now. Hopefully, our decision makers and our scholars, they might understand this factor. Thank you very much, Shah Saab. Viewers, you have listened the viewpoint of Dr. Mubeen Shah. If you have any query, you may ask us. We will try to give you the answer in the next show. Thank you very much for watching this show. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you, sir.